Gary Mitchell with the Lubbock County District Attorney's Office, appearing on behalf of the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. The department appears today by and through St. Francis Ministries caseworker Jennifer Contreras and Supervisor Karanda Slay, present and ready to proceed.
Shannon Clift Williams, I'm the attorney for the respondent mother, Kelsey Martin, and she is on the phone with Malik Williams.
Jim Shaw representing the father.
Lindsay Murray representing the child.
Addie Gutierrez with CASA.
Elizabeth Henley with CASA.
All right, tell me about Milani. Where is she currently placed?
Yes, Judge Milani is 2 years old. She is placed in a kinship home with maternal great-grandparents here in Lubbock. She's doing very well in her placement, and we have no concerns with placement at this time. There are no medical concerns, Judge. She is up to date on all medical and dental exams. She does not take any type of medications. She does not attend therapy at this time. She attends daycare full-time, and she does very well attending.
Okay, do we have a home study back on the great-grandparents?
Yes, Judge, and it was approved.
Okay, and I also had ordered a home study on the grandmother, Miss Cox. Did we get that back?
No, Your Honor. I will
Okay.
look into that.
Miss Cliff Williams, are we still wanting the home study on the grandmother?
And Your Honor, that was requested by the father's attorney.
Okay, Mr. Shaw, we still need a home study on Miss Cox?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, let's get a 10-day home study ordered on Miss Cox. And when those home studies come back, y'all let me know if we need a placement hearing. But at the adversary, I ordered the department to give 10 days notice if we're moving the child. Same thing. If we're going to move the child out of the current placement, let's give the parties 10 days notice.
Okay, Judge.
Miss Murray, any concerns on Milani?
Not at this time, Judge.
Casa?
No concerns at all. She's doing great. She's progressing normally, developing normally. She's comfortable and happy.
All right, Miss Martin, Mr. Williams, do you folks have any concerns with the current placement or with how Milani is doing? Can you all hear me?
And Your Honor, it looks like they froze.
Yep.
They're frozen.
Mr. Williams, Miss Martin, I see y'all down here, but you're not connected to audio. There we go. All right, Miss Martin, Mr. Williams, can you folks hear me?
We were just struggling. I'm so sorry.
Nope, no problem. Do you folks have any concerns regarding Milani?
Not right now. Could you tell us what was just said?
Sure.
I'm
It
sorry.
sounds like she is still with the great-grandparents and nobody had any concerns with her. Sounds like she's very happy, very healthy, doing well.
Okay. Yes, then we're good.
Okay. All right. Tell me about the parents' plan of service. What are we asking these folks to do to get Milani back?
Yes, Judge. So Kelsey and Malik have their own separate individual plan. We're asking Miss Martin to maintain contact with St. Francis Ministries and the permanency specialist, which is me. Miss Martin will participate in all services as outlined on the family plan of service, and she'll allow St. Francis Ministries access to her residence on a monthly basis. This will include documenting the home environment through pictures. Miss Martin will obtain and maintain safe and stable housing throughout the life of this case. She reports that she's staying with a friend in Lubbock. Her address is currently unknown at this time. Miss Martin will obtain and maintain a source of legal income throughout the life of this case. Miss Martin is currently working at Comet Cleaners here in Lubbock. Miss Martin will refrain from any criminal activity throughout the life of this case. Miss Martin will agree to attend complete parenting classes and demonstrate what she's learned from the parenting classes during her parent-child visits. Miss Martin will agree to participate and complete a psychological evaluation and follow through with recommendations made by the provider. Miss Martin has completed this task. She had a psychological evaluation on April 2nd. Miss Martin will participate in individual counseling, and she'll maintain regular counseling sessions with the provider through the duration of this case, and she'll follow any and all recommendations made by the provider. Miss Martin has scheduled this with therapist Holly Waddell at this time. Miss Martin will agree to maintain a drug-free lifestyle. She will submit to random drug alcohol screens as requested by the worker. Miss Martin will take the test on the date requested at the location requested, and Miss Martin understands that failing to take the drug test will result in a presumed positive. She tested positive for fentanyl on 3/12, and she tested positive for marijuana and on 4/17 on a hair and a UA. Ms. Martin will agree to submit a drug and alcohol assessment, and she'll comply with recommendations made. She'll contact the OZAR provider and honestly participate in this assessment. Ms. Martin will agree to participate and successfully complete a substance abuse treatment program as recommended by the department or as recommended by the court-ordered drug and alcohol dependency assessment service provider. Should Ms. Martin test positive on any drug screens or if recommended by a service provider, Ms. Martin agrees to attend at least weekly AANA, a 12-step substance abuse recovery program, and she'll provide the worker with written documentation verifying that she's attended these meetings. Ms. Martin will agree to attend all scheduled parent-child visits, and she'll ensure that visits promote positive and engaging interaction between her and Milani. At this time, visits take place every Wednesday from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. in Milani's placement. Ms. Martin has attended all scheduled visits so far, and she has been appropriate at every visit. Ms. Martin will participate in a women's independent class, and she will agree to follow any and all recommendations by the provider. Ms. Martin will pay child support in the amount of $50 and medical support in the amount of $50. Ms. Martin will comply with all recommendations made by the service providers.
Ms. Cliff Williams, any issues with that plan of service?
And Your Honor, I've not spoken with my client, and so I would ask her, or ask if she has any questions, we could go into a breakout room.
I don't have any questions.
Okay,
Okay,
so,
Ms. Martin, you understand that those are all of the things that you need to do and work on to try to get Milani back?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Your Honor, I had one question and, or two, actually. One is, when is the child support and medical support supposed to start? And since, my client is living with a friend, I'd ask that those be postponed for a while until she can get on her feet.
I don't know that I ordered any.
And so then I would wait, for an order on child support and medical support until she does have housing.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
And then also, insofar as her psychological evaluation, I would like a copy of that. If Ms. Contreras would send me a copy, I'd appreciate it.
Of course.
Okay, I approve Ms. Martin's plan of service. What about Mr. Williams?
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. Williams will maintain contact with St. Francis Ministries, the worker, which is me. Mr. Williams will participate in all services as outlined on the family plan of service and allow St. Francis Ministries access to his residence on a monthly basis. This will include documenting the home environment through pictures. Mr. Williams will obtain and maintain safe and stable housing throughout the life of this case. It is unknown where Mr. Williams resides at this time. Mr. Williams will obtain and maintain a source of legal income throughout the life of this case. It is unknown if Mr. Williams is working at this time. Mr. Williams will refrain from any criminal activity throughout the life of this case. He was arrested on 4/19 for possession of drug paraphernalia, no driver's license, and speeding. Mr. Williams will agree to attend complete parenting classes and demonstrate what he has learned from the parenting classes during his parent-child visits. Mr. Williams will agree to participate and complete a psychological evaluation. This was completed on 4/2. Mr. Williams agrees to participate in individual counseling, and he'll maintain regular counseling sessions with the provider throughout the duration of the case, and he'll follow any and all recommendations made by the provider. Mr. Williams agrees to maintain a drug-free lifestyle and will submit to random drug and alcohol screens as requested by the St. Francis Ministries worker. Mr. Williams will take the test on the date requested at the location requested. He will understand that failing to take the drug test will result in a presumed positive. He tested positive on a UA for fentanyl. He tested positive on a hair strand for marijuana, and I asked him to take a UA on the same date, and it was diluted. It was not the appropriate temperature. Mr. Williams agrees to submit a drug and alcohol assessment with OZAR. He will honestly participate in the assessment and will comply with recommendations made. Mr. Williams will agree to participate and successfully complete a substance abuse treatment program as recommended by the court-ordered drug and alcohol dependency assessment. Should Mr. Williams test positive on any drug screens or if recommended by a service provider, he will agree to attend at least weekly AANA classes, a 12-step substance abuse meetings, and provide worker with written documentation verifying his attendance at these meetings. Mr. Williams will agree to attend all scheduled parent-child visits, and he'll ensure that visits promote positive, engaging interaction between him and Milani. His visits take place on the same date and time as Mom's does, Miss Kelsey Martin. Mr. Williams has attended all scheduled visits, and he has been appropriate at every visit so far. I do have the child support on here as well, Judge. And that's 50 for medical and
Mr. Mitchell, let's do amended temporary orders and zero out child support and medical support.
Will do. Thank you for that. And lastly, Mr. Williams will comply with all recommendations made by all service providers.
Mr. Shaw, any concerns with the plan?
Only that we would ask that on the drugs screening that he would have 24 hours to report to the testing facility? And could I get a copy of the tests that have already been taken?
Yes, sir.
24 hours. 24 hours is fine.
And I would request the same for my client as well, Your Honor, and also her drug test.
Yes, ma'am. 24 hours is fine for both parents. Okay. Anything else? All right, I will approve both plans of service for the parents, and I'll set the first permanency hearing August the 27th at 2. All right, thank y'all.
Thank you,
Thank
Judge.
you, Your Honor.
You judge.
We'll be adjourned. Mr. Shaw, Ms. Cliff Williams, can y'all hang out just a minute? And Anthony
Yes, Your Honor.
Baxter. Let me have the parties identified.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I got out of order. Gary Mitchell with the Lubbock County District Attorney's Office, appearing on behalf of the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. The department appears by and through caseworker Samantha Ochoa and Supervisor Sarah Bustamante. Present and ready to proceed.
Okay, Ms. Fouts is present for the parents.
I apologize, Your Honor. I'm here.
It's okay. And the parents are present. I think Mr. Shaw is in the room as well. Okay, tell me how these parents are doing in services this month. This will be our 3rd compliance review hearing. Tell me how they're doing this time.
Okay. Rhiannon is still working with Holly Waldell in individual counseling. She is engaged and continues to discuss alternative coping skills so that she doesn't need to use antidepressants. As far as drug screens go, she has completed a screen on March 22nd and April 12th. Both were negative for all substances. She continues to deny any current marijuana use. Today will be her last group with Richard Gatlin for the substance education program. They will be creating relapse prevention plans this evening. As far as her mental health, she is now receiving level 1 care through Star Care. She is set to meet with her case manager every 3 months, and then she's got a clinic appointment May 13th with Dr. Alog. I'm hoping I say his name right. She continues to report taking her thyroid medication daily, and then she has consistently worked with Chelsea Branch. She did report missing one Saturday morning appointment due to sleeping in, but she and Chelsea have been able to reschedule that. She is still working in phase 1, but they are hoping to transition into phase 2 soon. And then for Mr. Anthony Baxter, he has started counseling with Richard Gatlin. I believe he has now done 2 sessions. He is very open and engaged when working with Richard. They are also focusing on his relationship between him and Rhiannon so that we can get a referral for couples therapy. As far as his drug testing, he also completed a UA on March 25th and April 12th. Both of those came back negative. He continues to attend daily AA and NA at the hub. He is also chairing some of those meetings and then continues to be a sponsor through that 12-step program. He is also just in need of one last session with the substance abuse program with Richard Gatlin. He will also be making his relapse prevention plan this evening. He is still residing at the Oxford Sober Living Home, and he is not reporting any concerns with his home. And then again, he is working with FCT worker Chelsea Branch. They seem to be doing a lot better individually working with this worker, but when they transition into phase 2, we're hoping to see more of those family sessions.
All right, Ms. Branch, tell me how the parents are doing in your part of the program.
They're doing very well. They've opened up quite a bit one-on-one with me, and the hope is that in phase 2, we can work together with both of them to strengthen their relationship.
All right, Ms. Baxter, you, Ms. Loera, y'all tell me what you're learning in these services.
Well, as far as I'm still learning a lot about myself and learning how to live sober and everything, but oh baby. I guess I'm learning how to listen more, learning how to take it all in, learning how to not react on my emotions as much.
Okay, Ms. Loera.
Yes, ma'am. I have I've just been learning a lot more about my impact on my child and learning how to control my anger and my depression so that I can set a better example for her. Just trying to work on my communication skills with my person and hope for a better future.
Okay, it's a very good report this month. I'm proud of both of you. We'll talk to you again next month. Hopefully that we get another good report. You're in phase 2, maybe phase 3. We'll see how it goes next week. But so far, I'm very proud of you.
Judge, I just want to express that both of these parents from day one told me they wanted to address their issues, and they've done exactly that. I mean, they maintain their sobriety, and they're a success in this program. So I just wanted to express my appreciation for their hard work.
Thank you. Mr. Shaw, do you have any concerns regarding Eliza?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, I think that's her sitting in Mama's lap, and she looks just fine. Okay, does the department have any concerns with Eliza?
No, Your Honor, we do not at this time. She was sent home from daycare this afternoon because they said she was running a little fever, but she looks to be doing just fine, and I believe Mom has scheduled a doctor's appointment afterwards.
Okay. All right, very good. Good job, folks. The next hearing will be May 21st at 3. Thank you. We have the parties identified.
Gary Mitchell with the Lubbock County District Attorney's Office, appearing on behalf of the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. The department appears today by and through caseworker Megan Millen and Supervisor Alejandra Mosqueda, and we're ready to proceed.
Katie Mason, attorney for respondent mother Alicia McClendon, who is also present in the virtual courtroom.
Jenna Clift-Williams, I'm the attorney ad litem for the children, Carolyn and Summer.
Okay, tell me how Ms. McClendon is doing in services this month.
She's been doing well. She's getting re-engaged with the TFF services. I think we discussed last month that she was reassigned to James, a male TFF worker. So now she's back with her original female worker. So she's getting re-engaged with that. She started the substance abuse group with Richard Gatlin this month on the 10th. And she's going weekly for that. And I need to correct something from my court report. She's actually doing parenting with family guidance and outreach online. She said that the parenting cottage people didn't get back to her. So she's doing parenting 3 times a week online. She had a negative drug test this month, which is awesome. And she's also told me that she's taking her mental health medications as prescribed. The only thing that I have to say is that the baby Summer, she was enrolled in ECI services before the case started from her doctor, but they had to dismiss the family this month due to rescheduling and missing appointments when things were going a little back and forth last month.
Still need ECI?
Yes, and I told them to get with their doctor so maybe they can refer them to Therapy 2000 or something like that.
Okay. All right, Ms. Mason, anything to add on behalf of Ms. McClendon?
No, Your Honor, she's doing well. She's getting engaged. I think the only concern is just some housing, but I've been speaking with Megan about that to see if we can kind of reach a resolution. The placement that Alicia and the children are living at, they're planning on downsizing or even potentially moving out of Lubbock. And so I've just been requesting to see if we can potentially have some unsupervised visits because Mom does have an apartment that she can go to. So, but that's pretty much the only thing.
Ms. Cliff-Williams, any concerns regarding the children other than that ECI issue with Summer?
No, Your Honor, I don't have any concerns. They're both appear to be doing fairly well with Mom and their placement.
All right. Where is Ms. McClendon this iPhone box?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Ms. McClendon, tell me how you think you're doing in services. Talk to me about what you're learning.
I think I'm doing very good. I have learned on my family guidance class that it's multiple things of mental illness that that nobody's talking about, and I have learned about my mental illness with depression, anxiety, and I have been taking my medicine every day. And with the guidance class with Mr. Richard, I have learned if I'm ready to quit and everything, all the stuff that we learned from him. I actually remembered what we had said the first week to tell the new people the second week, what we was learning about. And he was surprised to me saying that.
Okay. All right. What about this ECI issue with Summer? You understand that she needs some services?
Yes, ma'am. And I have to wait till I have to schedule her doctor's appointment. Her doctor has not been in for me to schedule another appointment.
Okay. let's get with Mr. Gatlin and see if he has a recommendation on lifting the supervision for mom at this point and see what he says.
And Miss Hannah has told me that I've been doing very well. It's just me. If my family that I'm living with, if they move out of town, I wouldn't be able to make it to class for an hour because of how far it is. So that's why I'm trying to get my supervision lifted so I can be at home. Then I can make my way to my classes, because from my house to Mr. Richard Gallen group and to my counselor is right down the street.
Okay. All right, let's figure out a plan.
Yes, ma'am. And I'm just not trying to lose my house and going to the shelter, because I will lose everything that's in my house.
Okay, let's maybe have a meeting with Mr. Gatlin and the current folks where she's living and see what we need to do to make a plan if those folks decide to move. Okay, very good, Ms. McClendon. I'm going to set another review hearing for you May the 21st at 2.
Okay.
All right, we'll be adjourned. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Hearing Mitchell with the Lubbock County District Attorney's Office, appearing on behalf of the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. The department appears today by caseworker Veronica Ramirez and Supervisor Jasmine DeVroe, and we are ready to proceed.
Leanne Fouts for the mother, Krista Guerra, and I think it's Mr. Rodriguez that I still have.
Right.
Jim Shaw representing the father,
Mr.
Mr. Hinojosa.
Krista Guerra.
Oh, there she is.
Yes.
Gabby Gutierrez with CASA.
Allison Rowan with CASA.
Mr. Mitchell, what is the status of service on the unknown father?
On the unknown father, Your Honor, we still just have a publication on 12/1. Don't believe we've been provided with any location to attempt personal service at this time.
Okay, tell me about paternity. We have Mr. Rodriguez is the father of who?
Madison.
Madison.
Okay, and is he adjudicated?
Yes, Your Honor, by virtue of the genetic test. And there is an order of adjudication.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's an order.
There is. There is.
Okay, and Mr. Hinojosa is the father of who?
Giovanni, and he has been adjudicated as well, Your Honor.
Okay, and Mr. Lira?
Your Honor, I don't think we've got that test back yet. Unless it came in today, but I don't think so.
Do we have Mr. Lira personally served?
No, ma'am. He was served only by publication on January the 26th.
Has he done a paternity test?
No, Your Honor, because we don't know where he is to locate him.
Okay. All right, tell me about the children. Where are they currently placed?
Josiah and Giovanni are currently placed in a foster home with the Tingles. Both medical and dental on both children are up to date. Both eating, sleeping well. I do have some concerns when it comes to Josiah. There's been 2 incidents at the daycare. On 4/12, he slapped another kid, a girl, in the face because she was looking at him. And then another incident on 4/3, he tripped another student when they were walking in line on purposely. A lot of redirecting. He is doing play therapy on Thursdays with Dana Devine. And then Giovanni, he's eating, sleeping well, explores. He likes to be around his brother. He started ECI with Angels of Care once a week for speech. And overall, besides the redirecting with Josiah, I mean, they're doing very well and adjusted well to the foster home.
Okay, what about Madison?
Madison is doing very well. She always has a happy demeanor, smiling every time I do my visits. She's in the 90th percentile for her weight. She's finished speech therapy. She's on track. She still continues to receive OT once a month, and she's making improvements.
She's in the same foster home?
Yes. Oh, no, I'm sorry. She's with the Newfields. I'm sorry about that, Judge.
Yeah, but she's in the same foster home that she was in at the adversary?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What are we doing to try to get the kids placed together?
Well, I mean, I think right now the mom's okay with where they're at. The boys seem to be doing well. Miss Madison's, doing well where she's at. Mom really expressed, any, concerns about placing them all together. But that's something we could definitely look into.
Ms. Fouts, do we have any placement options, relatives, any family, friends, anybody we can be
No.
looking at?
Not at this time, Judge. My client's doing really, really well. And so I think it's her hope that reunification can occur sooner rather than later. And so she doesn't want a bunch of moves before that happens. Is that how you feel, Krista?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Casa, any concerns regarding the children?
No concerns at this point. Like they said, Madison's doing really well in the placement that she's in. Boys seem to be doing really well in the placement they're in. And I agree with St. Francis that I don't really necessarily think either of them need to be moved at this time. I understand it'd be great for them to be together, but they're both in really good homes right now. And like they said, hopefully reunification could happen sooner than later. But
Ms.
no
Garrett, do you have any concerns regarding the children?
None at this time, other than just some of the behavioral things that they mentioned with Josiah, but that's being addressed with his play therapy.
Okay, Ms. Guerra, do you have any concerns regarding the children?
No, ma'am. Currently, I do not.
Okay, tell me about Ms. Guerra's progress and services.
Ms. Guerra has provided, and I went to verify her residence. She stays in contact with me monthly. She's passed all drug screens. She attends every parent-child visit, and she engages great. I can see the love there. She has completed parenting and NA and AA and has provided certificates. She continues to do individual with Mr. Gatlin, where I've gotten nothing but positive feedback on that as well. She's doing great overall, Your Honor.
Ms. Darnell, I just wanted to input in there. The AA and NA that she is referring to is an outpatient that I completed.
Okay.
Ms. Guerra did hit a bump on the road. She was arrested on 2/6 of 2024 for theft, but Ms. Guerra has reported to me that Mr. Hinojosa, who she was in a relationship at the time, offered to help with a utility bill and happened to use a stolen credit card. But since the bill was under Ms. Guerra's name, a warrant was issued for her arrest. Ms. Guerra has reported to me that she is working on getting the arrest dismissed, and that Mr. Hinojosa is willing to take responsibility for the theft charge.
Ms. Fouts, anything to add on behalf of Ms. Guerra?
No, other than I'm super proud of her because she seems to be making all the necessary changes she needs to make to be independent and depend on herself and not men to help take care of her situation if she can get this straightened out with Mr. Hinojosa. She's worked really, really hard and I'm proud of her.
And Ms. Darnell, I did wanted to go ahead and put in there, that charge was from last year. The only reason I didn't hear anything about it was because, I moved up here to Lubbock and my mailing address was in Slayton. So I guess that's why it barely came up at the end of January. But it happened last year that he had paid my utility bill. And the officer that was investigating it said that the charge would be dropped. I did get out on bail and I still have to pay that bail, but he did say that he would provide me with a paper stating that the charge got dropped by the DA's office, but I have not received that yet. And I have been trying to get in contact with him. It's out of Seagraves County. And it's been very difficult to get that in Gaines County, yes.
All right, Ms. Ramirez, what about the dads? Do we have any dads participating?
Mr. Rodriguez was in contact with me at the beginning, month to month. I did a few house visits. He was unwilling at first to do services. I kind of talked him into it. He agreed to it, and then he just stopped, being in contact with me. I've tried every month, done unannounced. We've tried to implement visits with Madison. However, he just hasn't reached back.
What about Mr. Hinojosa?
Mr. Hinojosa is incarcerated right now. He has been doing a parenting and a life skills packet. He has stated that he's willing to do services once he is released. However, I don't have a date on that exactly. And he is doing, I believe, a parenting 1, 2, 3 class at the Lubbock County Detention Center.
Ms. Fouts, anything on behalf of Mr. Rodriguez?
No, Judge. I just wanted to add on both. Mr. Rodriguez does not maintain contact with me. Krista, on the other hand, does. She checks in with me once a month. And so that to me shows what kind of commitment she has and what kind of commitment he doesn't have.
Mr. Shaw, anything on behalf of Mr. Hinojosa?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Shaw, I'm going to appoint you to represent Mr. Lira and the unknown father as well. And I will set this for another permanency hearing and a final hearing, August the 22nd at 9. Anything else?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
I'm sorry. I did want to sit there and see what we can work on with more visitation, either a phone call. I mean,
oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
And Judge Casa would like to add with the visits with Krista, we were wondering if we could have them at maybe less maybe like restrictive placement, like places of the visits, maybe like McDonald's, things like that, so she can really engage with the kiddos.
I did want to sit there and just throw in there, we did try the McDonald's thing. It was very hectic, just with all 3 kids, they're all at different ages. But I would like a different setting with the kids so that way I can be able to interact with them more and there's more, things to play with, and it's not like where we're at now. I mean, there's really not any soft place to play with Madison on the floor unless we go outside. I can bring a blanket, but I mean, it's still a hard floor. So, but I really did want to see if we can go ahead and possibly with the family member, get unsupervised visits and work towards that, because I mean,
no, not unsupervised visits at this point, but if we can find a family member that will pass a background check, supervised visits.
Yes, I'm sorry, that's what I meant.
That would be fine with me.
Okay.
Okay, permanency hearing and a final hearing, August the 22nd at 9. The parties identified.
Gary Mitchell on behalf of the Lubbock County District Attorney's Office, appearing on behalf of the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. The department appears by and through St. Francis Ministries caseworker Shanika White and Supervisor Amanda Roberts, present and ready to proceed.
Lindsay Murray on behalf of the child.
Okay, we had both parents served by publication, but it looks like maybe Miss Esparza is incarcerated.
She was incarcerated, but she was released on the 5th of this month.
Okay, Mr. Mitchell, were we able to personally serve her while she was in jail?
We were not. She was in and out before we could get that done, Your Honor.
All right. Tell me about Angel. Angel is living with an aunt. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am. He has been placed with maternal aunt since December of last year. In the home, Angel is doing good. He is a really sweet and smart kid. He gets along with his cousins there. Some of his favorite things are Sonic the Hedgehog. He loves the Ninja Turtles. He told me last visit his favorite thing to eat are the lava cakes from Little Caesars. So in placement, Angel is doing very well. School, however, there's some issues with school. I spoke with the principal about 2 weeks ago, and she informed me that Angel has been acting out. He does not like to go between activities, and when he's told to do so, he gets upset. He has thrown himself on the floor. He has hit people. He kicks, he yells, he screams. They had to take him into the office on the 16th, and it took them about 45 minutes to get him calmed down. They are working with their school psychologist because they're thinking that he may have emotional disturbance disorder. So they're looking into that as well as some ADHD. I did speak with Aunt a little while ago, and she did tell me that there was another incident that happened this morning. She is on now, so I can let her tell you more about that.
Something happened this morning with Angel?
Yes, ma'am. He got upset at the teacher's aide for not allowing him to spray and clean his table. He wanted to do it himself, but they don't allow the children. And it seems like any little thing is setting him off lately. And so he had a fit. He started running around the room, crying, screaming, throwing chairs. He was trying to climb on top of stuff. He was knocking stuff off the, the desk and the counters. He did start like doing some self-harming where he's grabbing his shoe and banging his head with it. And this happened last week, but today he grabbed the shoe and he hit the window on the door and broke the glass. So that was like not even 30 minutes into this morning, and I was having to go pick him up. It seems like his behavior at school is just more extreme. I know that some of the stuff that was in his binder, I've never witnessed myself. I've never seen. He's not like that here at home. He's good at home. He's got manners. He's respectful. But at school, the principal thinks it's too much stimulation or something for him, and he's just not able to be in class. He's lost a lot of instructional days, where he's not doing what he needs.
Ms. White, do we have him in play therapy or anything?
He is doing therapy through the Cater program. I did talk with Ms. Camacho and the principals, and we're going to get therapy moved to the school since that is where he typically has the behaviors. His counseling with Aunt is currently virtual, so we're moving to do it in person.
Can we check out maybe if Dr. Robinson can do some therapy with him?
Yes, ma'am, I can definitely check on that.
I think this might be a good spot for Dr. Beth Robinson.
Sure, I can get on that.
Okay, can we set up an art at school to see if there's some additional services in school, like one-on-one attention and smaller classes, whatever we need to do to try to help him at the school?
He does have one scheduled for May the 12th, I believe.
Great. All right, Ms. Murray, additional concerns regarding Angel?
No, Your Honor, not that haven't already been addressed.
Okay, do we have an approved home study on the aunt?
Yes, Your Honor, we do.
Okay. Right, have we located either parent to do services?
I made contact with Mom while she was in jail, gave her some parenting worksheets, gave her my information, asked her to contact me when she was released. There was no contact. There was an address on file. I went to that address. I've not been able to find her. Mr. Reyes, I did have contact with him February and March, but I have not had contact with him since. He did do one virtual visit with Angel, and no one has seen or heard from him since.
Okay. All right, I'm going to set this for a permanency and a final hearing, August the 22nd at 9. And I will appoint an attorney for both parents at this point. Okay, anything else?
No, Your Honor.
All right, August 22nd at 9. Thank y'all. Parties identified.
Gary Mitchell with the Lubbock County District Attorney's Office, appearing on behalf of the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. The department appears through St. Francis Ministries caseworker Samantha Lopez and Supervisor Amanda Roberts, present and ready to proceed.
Leanne Fouts for the mother, Brianna Williamson, who's currently in Gatesville.
Cynthia Trusso for the fathers, Mr. Lilly and Mr. Lights. Mr. Lilly is present in the virtual courtroom today, Your Honor.
Jim Shaw, attorney at Latham.
All right, tell me about placement. Where are the children?
Your Honor, real quick, the mother was released on Friday and she made contact with me on Monday. So I believe she's here under Desi, Leanne.
Well, that's great news because I spent all day yesterday trying to find her. And I was really confused on why she was moved to Gatesville, and it said she was supposed to be released on the 19th.
Yes, ma'am. She made contact with me on Friday. She was released on Friday and made contact with me on Monday. So I believe that's her. I sent her the link. So I think that's her.
Yes, ma'am, it's me.
Okay.
Yay. Yay.
I'm sorry.
But the children are placed with their grandmother here, or their great grandmother here in Lubbock. They were placed on March 14th and have been doing great. It was really a great thing to put those children back together. When they were placed separately, they missed each other tremendously. It's really great to see them back together. Jaden is enrolled here at Roy Roberts LISD, and he's doing great. He is also current on his medical and dental appointments. And he really just enjoys being a big brother. He's very protective, looks out for them. He likes playing outside with them, reading to them. And so he's doing great. Kinsley and Kaylee stay at home with grandma. And just like Jaden is really protective of them, they're also very protective and want to see where Jaden's at. And they're all just one. It's hard to express how bonded those children are. And so they really love each other, and it was really hard on them not to be together. So they've grown, and you can kind of see them coming out of their shells more because they're in a comfortable setting and they know that they're together. The girls enjoy playing outside, reading books, playing with their Barbies. They've recently got a sandbox, and so they're really enjoying that. They are also current on their medical and dental appointments, and there's no concerns. All three of the children did have to have a lot of dental work at the beginning of the case, but by January, that was all taken care of. And so there's nothing further at this time that needs to happen.
Okay, all that sounds very good. Do we have an approved home study on the grandmother?
Yes, we do.
Mr. Shaw, concerns with the children?
No, Your Honor, have you with the new placement?
Ms. Williamson, do you have any concerns regarding the children?
No, ma'am, I do not.
I'm guessing Desiree, and maybe she addressed it with Samantha about getting visits set up.
No, ma'am, I have not yet discussed that with her.
Okay,
Yeah,
we'll
she just made contact with me, so we haven't had a lot of time to discuss that yet, but my plan is to meet with her. I do have her, I believe she sent me her address to where
Yes,
she's
ma'am.
staying at, so I'll meet with her there to just go over her family plan and just touch up on some things.
Okay, good.
Ms. Terso, anything on behalf of the fathers regarding the children? Any concerns?
Your Honor, I was able to get in touch with Mr. Lights, and his only desire that he expressed to me was he really wanted to make sure Jaden was doing well in school, which it sounds like he is. And I have not had any concerns regarding the children brought to me by Mr. Lilly, but he is on today. So if he has any concerns, Your Honor, I defer to him.
Okay, Mr. Mitchell, do we have Mr. Lights personally served?
Yes, ma'am. He was served 11/14. I was looking at that, and I had notes about establishing paternity, but I don't have anything written down whether that was accomplished. But I will look into that.
Okay, my notes indicate that Mr. Lilly is adjudicated as to the Lilly children, but I don't have anything about Mr. Lights.
We'll follow up on that. I'll double check and see.
Okay. All right, let's, I understand Ms. Williamson was just released. Ms. Lopez, what are we going to be asking her to do at this point now that she is released? And what is on her plan of service going forward?
Can we go back to the regular visitation rights?
Just 1 second, David. Okay, so for Destiny, we are asking her to participate in all the services that are outlined on her plan. We ask her to maintain stable housing, maintain employment, participate in supervised visits with her children, participate in 12 hours of parenting classes, participate in a psychological evaluation and follow those recommendations. We're asking her to participate in therapy and follow those recommendations, participate in drug and alcohol assessment and follow those recommendations. We're also asking for her to participate in random drug screens as requested, and then participate in AA and NA classes.
Okay, Ms. Williamson, tell us your plan at this point. Are you living in Lubbock?
Yes, ma'am, I am. I'm living in Lubbock right now. I'm living with my mother's cousin right now, and I'm looking for a job at the moment. Yes, ma'am.
And Destiny, was there anything available to you when you were in Midland County that you were able to do?
No, man, there little that I did and sent back, but that was it.
Okay.
Okay. Ms. Williamson, do you have any questions about the services that the department is wanting you to do?
No, ma'am, I do not.
Okay, very good. All right, tell me about Mr. Light's progress and services.
Mr. Lights is still currently incarcerated, and so I haven't been able to talk to him. I do mail him letters with my information and some parenting packets. I have not received any back, and I can't verify like what's available at where he's currently at. And so I continue just to mail out letters and packets every month.
Ms. Williamson, tell me about paternity of Jaden. Were you ever married to Mr. Lights?
No, ma'am, I was not.
Did you ever go to court with respect to Jaden?
No, ma'am.
Child support, anything like that?
No, ma'am.
Do you remember if Mr. Lights signed any paperwork at the hospital saying he was dad?
Yes, he did.
Do you have a copy of that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I need you to send that to Ms. Fouts.
Okay, I can do that.
Do you want a paternity test on Jaden?
No, ma'am.
Okay, we just need to visit with Mr. Lights.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
Mr.
I
So,
may have an update on Mr. Lights. I looked at an email and that information was sent to Cherry Chavez, but I don't know if it was sent off or what results or whether they were able to accomplish anything on that, but we'll follow up on that as well.
okay.
And can I mean, Destiny and I could probably talk about this, but I want to clarify what the status, because of my confusion regarding what her status was, sending her to Gatesville. Are you completely done with all your criminal stuff? Are you on parole? Are you just done?
No, I'm done with everything.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Just making sure.
Okay, tell me about Mr. Lily's progress.
Mr. Lilly has been doing very well throughout the case. We've asked him to maintain stable housing, and he's done that. He lives with his grandmother, and so he's maintained a stable home throughout the case. He's also just started working in March of 2024. And so that's a great thing for him to be doing right now. He is also very active during the visits with his children. Him and his mother have visits together, and those visits go really well. They're both very active with the children. They always have special things for them. They bring food, they bring toys. The last visit I attended was for Kensley's birthday, and there was food and cake and birthday signs, and it was a really exciting visit. So that they do really well at the visits. He's also completed 12 hours of parenting class, and he's also completed anger management. He has reached out to Mr. Gatlin to get services started, and so those that referral has been sent. So we're just waiting for him to get scheduled with Mr. Gatlin. But other than that, he's been doing extremely well, and I'm happy as far as much as he participates. He does really good.
Ms. Terso, anything on behalf of either one of these dads?
No, Your Honor. I will visit with Mr. Lights to ensure he's receiving those parenting packets and gets those back over to Ms. Lopez as soon as he is able to.
Okay. Ms. Williamson, I hope you're able to hit the ground running at this point. Get some of these services done, get your feet on the ground, and get a home going for these kiddos.
Yes, ma'am, most definitely.
Okay, I'm going to set this for another permanency and final hearing, August the 22nd at 9.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right, thank y'all. We'll be adjourned. The department versus Bristol Privet. Let me have the parties identified.
Gary Mitchell with the Lubbock County District Attorney's Office, appearing on behalf of the Texas Department of Protective and Family Services, and the department appears by and through caseworker Chrissy Meeker and Superintendent Alejandro Mosqueda. We're present and ready to proceed.
All right, Mr. Privet is present. Mr. Johnston couldn't be here, and Miss Eveline is also present. Tell me how Mr. Privet is doing in services this month.
We had a really good month this month. Things are going really well. Bristol is attending counseling with Richard Gatlin. He goes every other week. He attends every appointment. He's great at communicating with Mr. Gatlin and is very open with him and kind of able to articulate what's going on with Astrid and her behaviors and how he's handling that. He is also attending Parenting with Methodist Children's Home. They come to the home every week for an hour. He's working really well with them, as well as his girlfriend, Paige. Astrid's having some issues more so at school right now with her behavior. She's regressing a little bit there, but doing pretty well at home. So last I heard, they were going to be working on behavior charts, one for home and one for school, so that they can use some positive reinforcement and award her accordingly whenever she's doing really well. She is also attending counseling every other week with Nigel Torres. She's doing really well with him. She seems to really enjoy going to her sessions and working with Nigel. And Bristol is also really good about communicating updates with Mr. Torres as far as things go with Astrid. We're waiting on a drug test to come back. Him and Paige both went yesterday. Mr. Gatlin will be comfortable wrapping up with Bristol with his counseling probably at the beginning of May, pending that drug test result. Overall, we've just had a really good month with them.
Okay, very good. Mr. Privet, you agree? Okay, I think that you've done very well in the services. The last time we were here, we were worried about Astrid possibly having FAS. Did we help Mr. Privet get a screen done?
That was something that was discussed with Mr. Torres, and he does have a lot of experience working with children with fetal alcohol syndrome, and he does not have concerns that that is an issue, but Monica is their worker with MCH, and she did provide them with a referral to have her assessed for that, as well as some ADD and ADHD.
Okay, did we start family therapy this month?
They have not started family therapy.
Is there a plan for that?
I can discuss that with Gatlin. He sees Mr. Gatlin next Monday, so I can see if he'd be willing to work them in after that appointment, maybe the beginning of May.
Okay. Mr. Privet, do you think that that is needed?
Honestly, I do not think it is needed, but if it is something that needs to get done, it will get done.
Okay. Miss Evelyn, any concerns with Astrid?
No, Your Honor. I was able to visit with her yesterday, and in short, she's a live wire. She doesn't seem to know a stranger. I think she is one of those people that can talk to anybody about anything, and I'm not sure how much of the things she wanted to talk about were true and how many were in her imagination or her dreams, but she's very talkative, very lively, and she was fun to talk to. She did say she'd been kicked off the bus, and I was pretty fuzzy about why she said that happened, but she's supposed to be back on the bus by tomorrow, I think. And I guess Mr. Privet can verify if that's true or what happened. I assume it was some incident on the bus. She said she was the only one that got in trouble. So, but seems to be happy in school. She likes school. So no worries about her at this point.
Mr. Privet, was there a bus incident?
Yes, ma'am, there was. So what me and Paige had gotten told was that she was spitting. She had spit on some students, and she was pinning a student down. And from what the bus driver said, it looked like she was trying to kiss this other student, and the other student was not happy about it, didn't like it, was wanting her to stop, and she wouldn't. Astrid's version is she had some phlegm in her throat, and and it flew out and landed on someone. And she wasn't trying to kiss that person. She was trying to play and eat them.
I'm assuming that we have addressed all these concerns with Astrid's therapists.
No, not yet. Her next counseling will be her next counseling is Monday next week.
Okay. Let's just tell the therapist what happened and make sure he addresses all of that in the therapy with her.
And she acknowledged that there are rules that you keep your hands to yourself, but got away from her, I think.
I understand. Okay, Mr. Mitchell or Ms. Mosqueda, do we need further hearings for Mr. Privet? Are we comfortable that he's going to finish out the services? Y'all tell me.
I feel comfortable that he will follow through. He's been very cooperative with the department, and we're very pleased with his progress.
Okay, so is the department wanting me to dismiss the case at this point?
I would be okay with that, yes.
Miss Evelyn, are you okay with that?
I am, Your Honor.
Mr. Privet, are you okay with that?
I am.
All right, I will dismiss the case. Very good job, Mr. Privet. I'm very proud of you You did a lot of work in this case, and I feel very comfortable that Astrid is in good hands from this point going forward, and that you have the tools you need to address these behaviors, and that you will reach out on your own for resources if you need them.
Yeah.
Okay. Case dismissed. Thank y'all. 2509.
Thank you.
The department versus the Giannis parents. Let me have the parties identified.
Gary Mitchell with the Lubbock County District Attorney's Office, appearing on behalf of the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. The department appears by and through caseworker Samantha Ochoa and Supervisor Sarah Bustamante, present and ready to proceed.
Matt Morrow, attorney for the respondent father, present and ready, Your Honor.
Katie Mason, attorney and guardian ad litem for the children, present and ready.
And Jared Miller represents Ms. Giannis in this case. Mr. Miller is involved in a jury trial upstairs and couldn't be here. Okay, tell me how the Giannis parents are doing in services this month.
So Jackie is still attending individual counseling with Holly Waddell. She has been able to meet with her in person, I believe, twice now. It is recommended that she attend women's group. She still is in need of one class to complete her parenting. She has not started women's group. She did start a CNA program that was Monday through Friday from 5 to 11. That program just ended this past weekend. She did say that she could start the group once that program ended. However, as of this morning, I was informed that the vehicle has broken down again, and we're unsure, or the parents are unsure of exactly what part is needed to get that fixed. During home visits, I've not observed any safety concerns. Gabriel is still enrolled in the Strength at Home program. From my last update, he has completed 5 of those sessions. This is a 30-hour group, though, so 24 hours in group and 6 hours of assessment and monitoring, and only 5 have been done since January. When I've asked about any new coping skills, he's been unable to verbalize any new coping skills through that program. Again, they won't give a therapeutic recommendation to lift that safety plan because it's through the VA. He was scheduled to start BIP with Choices Counseling. He was unable to do so as he was watching the children at night when Jackie left the home, or Miss Giannis left the home. We did get him referred over to Richard Gatlin, and he has an initial visit scheduled this evening at 7 p.m. with Richard to start in that individual therapy to get that therapeutic recommendation. He continues to live outside the home. The children have been seen without any marks or bruises of concern. Garrett, the 8-year-old, has started counseling with Richard Gatlin on the 10th. He does have a follow-up appointment tomorrow. Richard had no concerns from that initial session.
Mr. Morrow, anything on behalf of Mr. Giannis?
Nothing to add, Judge. I'm hopeful that we can be on a good track from this point on.
Ms. Giannis, do you have anything to add?
Not at this time. I just so once he gets the second session and if they do recommend that he come back in the house, how do we do that? Do we have to wait till the next court hearing? Because I can't fix my car. I don't know anything about cars, so he's the only person who could help with it. So I'm trying to do it's just hard to start the women's group because it's like one thing after another that keeps happening, and it's difficult if he's not here. Like I have an interview tomorrow, so I want to start working. They're going to be 12-hour shifts since I got my nursing assistant so that I could get into a nursing program. So it's like if I do 12-hour shifts, it's 6 to 6 p.m. or a.m. So it's like it's just very stressful. So I'm just wondering even if he doesn't move back in, just for him to be here if I have to do something, if I have to work. He's the only one who knows. I have no idea about cars, so I can't fix a car. I'm not working right now, so I can't buy a car. I just want to know how much longer it's going to take since it's been like 5 months.
It's hard for the
courts. I've been doing
because I have no idea what Mr. Giannis is learning. I have no idea what you're learning until I hear from the therapist. I don't know if he's learning anything.
So does my therapist have to give a recommendation also? Because she said that she won't do it, that it has to be his therapist. Okay, baby, hold on.
Really needs both of them.
So she has to give a recommendation?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, certainly if the department can work something out where he can come over with a worker there and look at the car, I'm fine with that, as long as there's a worker there at the time.
Court read my mind. I was going to suggest that.
And Your Honor, it's my understanding Garrett is now attending school at Upland Heights, And we are paying for daycare. So even if he went during the daytime, there's not that EPO that he can't be around just Miss Yanes. But I wouldn't have a problem going as well to be there present between the two parents.
I would feel more comfortable if we have a worker present when the parents are together. Until I get any sort of inclination from the therapist that these parents have learned anything, I think it would be important to have a worker present when the parents are together, and certainly when Mr. Yanis is around the children. Okay, this is our 4th compliance review hearing. When we're here next month, I want therapist recommendations. I want y'all visit with the therapist, and I need some substantive information about what these parents have learned. And whether or not the therapists are impressed with the work that they're doing. Are they opening up? Are they addressing the issues? I haven't heard anything like that in the case so far. And we are 5 months into this thing. So need to assess the situation next month and see where we are. Okay, I will set another review hearing May the 21st at 3. The department versus Monique Garcia and Antonius Williams. Let me have the parties identify.
Yes, Your Honor. Gary Mitchell with the Lubbock County District Attorney's Office, appearing on behalf of the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. The department appears today by and through caseworker Gloriana Eddy and Supervisor Melissa Speed, present and ready to proceed.
Linda Evelyn for the mother, Monique Garcia, and we're both present and ready.
Sarah Hudman, attorney and guardian ad litem for Hayden and Elijah, present and ready.
Okay, this is also a TFF case, is that right?
No, ma'am, it's just a regular OTP case.
Okay, tell me how Miss Garcia is doing in services.
Monique has done well with parenting and resource management. I know she got a second job, so she's working on saving up some money to build her stability to be able to provide housing for her children that are currently living in a hotel right now. So she's working on being able to get into some like second housing type deal so she can be able to provide a stable environment for the kids. She does have a Star Care appointment on 4:30 with her PCP there to hopefully get back on some of her medications. I know her anxiety has been bad recently, she reports. So we're hoping to get her back on that. She also has her psychiatrist appointment scheduled for 6/21. She has drug tested and did test positive for marijuana. She reports she's still smoking about 1 to 2 blunts of marijuana a day. She reports she's using this to kind of as a coping mechanism for her anxiety and mental health. But she also has started counseling with Gatlin and has had a few sessions with him. He doesn't have any major concerns with her, but is still concerned with her marijuana use and using that as her coping mechanism. So he is going to continue. He recommends we continue counseling with her to kind of help her find other ways to cope, as well as work on her and Antonius's relationship and how to kind of better handle their conflicts. I have tried to also be in contact with Antonius. I have tried a couple times to do an assessment with him, but I have been unable to reach him as he's been unavailable. I believe he's supposed to have started working. But I did refer him to counseling with Mr. Gatlin so he can also do individual and they can do couples counseling together to kind of address the concerns with their relationship. The children are doing good. They're still living with their grandma in La Mesa. I do believe we are going to set up some visitations in office because I know Monique's kind of limited contact with the children recently. So we are going to set up some visitation in office for her.
Ms. Hudman, concerns with the children?
No, Your Honor. If the department is willing to help with the transportation to bring the kids here for visits, I think that will be good for all involved.
Okay, let's make sure the kids get transported for the visits. Ms. Evelyn, anything to add on behalf of Ms. Garcia?
Yes, Your Honor, I have several things. In regard to the marijuana, I've talked to my client about that numerous times. She reports that she is working to cut back on that. She knows it's something she needs to work on, but like the worker said, she is under a lot of stress and had a lot of anxiety about all of this. The visits are problematic. She tries to have phone or video visits with the kids, and her mom really kind of cuts her off and just says, "We don't have time." She's really not having any contact, meaningful contact with them. And so I'm glad to hear they're going to bring the kids up here. But I think we need to set up a schedule that her mom needs to follow. My client has also asked the department if they would drug test her mom because she apparently does have a history. She just wants to make sure that her kids are in a safe place and that there's not any concerns because she doesn't see her mom. She doesn't see the kids with her mom. So we're hoping that there's no issues there, but history is history, and that's something she's concerned about. She is working 2 jobs right now. She is off on Mondays. So I think her services need to be geared toward Mondays as much as possible. In terms of the services she's getting in home, they're really not able to meet very much. They are kind of communicating by phone and by text. Monique would like to be doing some more active parenting. She said had a couple of sessions talking about budgeting, which is hard since she doesn't have a home or any of those kinds of things, but they're doing budgeting for what they can right now. But she would like to be more engaged in parenting because if she's being told that she needs to do that, she wants to be doing it. As far as Antonius is concerned, she is right that he is working. He's working like 9 to 9 at a restaurant, so that pretty well eats up his days and his evenings. And she had reported that the condition for him to come live with her after he got out of jail was that he had work, and so he's doing that. So it's 6 of one and half a dozen the other. It's hard for him to get those other things worked in. I think that was all I wanted to ask about, but visitation was certainly very important. She hadn't actually got to see them face to face since December, and that's too long.
Yes, ma'am, it is. Let's set up in-person visits for Miss Garcia and put it on a schedule and transport the children for the visits. I don't have any authority to order the placement to do a drug test because she's not a party to the case and the kids aren't in care. Miss Eveline, what is your client's preference in case this placement tests positive?
I think we talked about that a little bit. I don't know that we have a plan B, so I think we'll just have to cross that bridge when we get to it. And hopefully it will not be a problem, but mostly we just want to be sure that she's getting her contact with her kiddos.
Okay.
I have
All
a
right.
question, Judge.
Yes.
Regarding the visitation, is this just between mom and the kids? Since dad's not in contact with the department, or what?
It's not dad, is it? It's a stepdad.
Oh, that's right. That's right. He's not dad. I apologize.
Yeah, so visits need to be between the mom and the children only.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'll set another review hearing May 21st at 3. All right, thank you.
Did I miss anything, Monique? I'm sorry. Did I miss anything? Okay.
Okay, May 21st at 3. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll be back at 4.
Deja vu. I feel like we were here before.
Yes, ma'am. All day today.
And Judge, I appreciate you allowing us to get on a little earlier so I can test my system each time.
No problem.
Judge, if there's any way possible, I'd like to go first, our hearing first in the Poston case. I have a granddaughter to pick up.
You bet. Have you talked to the mom this month?
I have, and she should be online.
That's the Garcia Ibarra?
Yes, the Cinnamon Garcia, and I've spoken with her twice today.
The Department versus Cinnamon Garcia and Bradley Ibarra. Let me have the parties identify.
Gary Mitchell with Lubbock County District Attorney's Office, appearing on behalf of the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services, who appear today by and through caseworker Cindy Hernandez and Supervisor Melissa Speed, present and ready to proceed.
Jana Clift Williams, I'm the attorney for the respondent mother, Cinnamon Garcia, and she is present, indicated by Motorola Moto G Play 2023.
Jim Shaw representing the father.
Lizzie Murray representing the children.
Okay, tell me how the parents are doing in services this month.
I just wanted to make a quick correction. Cindy Hernandez is no longer with us, so it is now Ashley Stuckey who will be the case here.
My bad.
Ms. Stuckey, tell me how the parents are doing in services.
So I have not been able to make contact with Cinnamon yet. I was informed that she is back in Lubbock and staying with her parents. I attempted to set up a meeting with her. We talked over the phone, and she did not show up for that initial meeting. I understand she had some issues with her phone. She has reached out to me last week, and I believe we're playing phone tag, but I still have not been able to actually talk to her, sit down and give her services to work. So I would like to be able to schedule a meeting with her. As far as Bradley's services go, he's been doing great. He's been attending counseling with Richard Gatlin. They did have a bit of a snag in scheduling due to a change in Bradley's work schedule, but Mr. Gatlin has no concerns regarding Bradley. He feels he's doing a great job caring for the kids. Their next session is actually scheduled for May 1st, where Richard's going to start incorporating Lilia into counseling, just to kind of help with some of her, she's got some feelings of depression, but she's not really wanting to engage in counseling. So we're hoping if she attends with Bradley that maybe she'll open up a little bit to feel comfortable to talk with Richard. Bradley did submit to a drug screen on April 17th, and he was negative for all substances. He's been really cooperative with the department and been able to communicate with us. He has let me know that he has filed for child support for the children through the Attorney General's office to go ahead and generate a custody hearing. But we have no other information at this time about that.
Mr. Shaw, anything on behalf of Mr. Ibarra?
No, Your Honor, he's fully participating. He was at work today, so he wasn't able to come be present.
Ms. Cliff Williams, anything on behalf of Ms. Garcia?
Your Honor, first of all, I'd kind of like for the caseworker to go over with my clients, since this is my client's first appearance in court, the services that the department's asking her to do, and then also what her visitation is with her children.
Before we get to that, Mr. Mitchell, last time we were here, I granted sanctions for the mom to attend NA daily for 30 days. Has that been happening?
I don't have a report that that's been happening. I know that was included in the order. I might ask.
Ms. Speed, has that been happening?
No, I don't believe so, because we haven't had any contact with mom. She hasn't reached out, or she didn't show to the visit that we had scheduled. And then I think they've been kind of playing some phone tag, but we haven't been able to sit down and talk to mom about her sanction.
And Your Honor, I would ask the court to be lenient on my clients, and she has not been made aware of this court order. I had no contact with her up until today, or maybe it was a couple of days ago.
Well, your client agreed to work services on February the 6th and hasn't, so.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor. I was at a facility and I had got kicked out while doing it. So I am looking for another facility to go to finish the 30 days.
Let's talk about the services the department is wanting mom to do.
Okay, so classes as well as the 30 days?
Ms. Speed, let's talk about the services the department is wanting mom to do.
We are wanting mom to complete a mental health assessment through Star Care, as well as a drug and alcohol assessment. We would like her to participate in inpatient treatment, as well as individual counseling and random drug testing.
Ms. Garcia, what is the facility that you tried?
Senacor in Amarillo.
Okay. What are the facilities that we would like mom to try at this point?
I was going to ask the CPS if they had one in mind that they would like me to go to.
We can definitely look into Grace Manor since it is local and they do offer the inpatient services, and we can get her set up on the outpatient services once she's graduated from inpatient.
Okay. Ms. Garcia, I want you to go today. If at all possible, I want you to meet with your worker after this hearing and get into Grace Manor today very latest tomorrow. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
And then certainly therapy and parenting after that. I think you'll be able to do some of those services while you're at Grace, and then get started on some services when you get out.
Yes, Your Honor.
Miss Murray, any concerns with the children?
Not with dad. We have reached out to mom. My office has to try to set up some contact with her. We haven't been successful either. I think my office did talk to her and there was supposed to be another conversation and that's never happened. With regard to dad, I think dad is doing really well and participating. So, I have no concerns about the kids now. With regard to possession and access, I would just ask that be supervised probably by somebody other than dad, until mom starts making some progress on her services.
Certainly. I'm fine with
at this point. I'm so sorry. We're going to move the visits to the office. Now that we've had, now that mom's here, and we are able to talk to her, we will move those visits to the office on a weekly basis.
Okay. I'm fine with that.
And Your Honor, just for clarification, since my client is supposed to go to Grace Manor today, then the sanction for AANA, can she do that at Grace Manor, or will her inpatient stay suffice for the AANA?
If she stays at Grace Manor and completes the program, then I will not order any sort of consequence for failing to follow my court order with regard to the daily NA. If she gets kicked out again, we're going to talk about sanctions next month.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You understand, Ms. Garcia?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I'll set another review hearing May 21st at 3.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
The department. All right, we'll be adjourned. Thank you. And Nicholas Short. Thank you. Let me have the parties identified.
Gary Mitchell with the Lubbock County District Attorney's Office, appearing on the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. They appeared today by and through caseworker Megan Millen and Supervisor Alejandro Mosqueda, present and ready to proceed.
Katie Mason, attorney for respondent mother Allison Klim, who's also present in the virtual courtroom. We are ready to proceed today.
Okay, tell me how Ms. Klim is doing in services.
She's been doing well this month with our services. She had a negative drug test this month, which is great. She started working with Dr. Peggy Skinner this month virtually, so she's been doing that for the last few weeks. She's doing good with that. That's virtual. And then she's maintaining her prenatal appointments since she's currently pregnant. Nick, the dad to the baby, he's currently in rehab, a treatment through his probation. So he's in Brownfield right now. So overall, she's been doing well. I think she still struggles a little bit with being overwhelmed with things, but we're trying to work with her on that.
Okay, is she doing the TFF program?
Yes, she is. I think there's just been issues the last few weeks with scheduling and getting things going, but she has been participating with them.
Okay, do we have somebody from the TFF program here?
It should be James. I sent him the link. I don't know if he's here. I don't see him.
Any services that Ms. Short needs to be, or Ms. Klim needs to be participating in that she's not?
No, she's doing everything right now.
Ms. Mason, anything on behalf of Ms. Klim?
No, I think she's doing extremely well. They did move up her due date to June. So, but I think the department is helping her get, I think y'all said a car seat. So, I mean, Allison's doing extremely well, holding down the fort. So I'm really proud of the progress she's made.
Okay, we have a plan in place when new baby gets here for daycare or whatever's needed.
Allison currently stays at home. She's not working right now just because she's pregnant, about to have her baby. But she does have her car seat now. She has a bassinet for the baby, so she's all prepared with things like that. And she said her family was going to help her with like clothes and diapers and all the other baby needs.
Okay, last time we were here, we had issues with Ms. Klim not letting the workers in the home. Do we have any concerns with that this month?
No, that hasn't been an issue for me. We actually had a really good visit last week in the home, so that was well.
Okay, Ms. Klim, can you unmute yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me what you're learning in your therapy.
I'm also in a parenting class, but I'm just learning different types of parenting and ways that the type of parenting I want to be for my daughter and then my son that's coming too, and then just types of ways that I was raised as a child and the reason why I am the way I am. And then the counseling's been going really good to talk to her. She's been very good to me and listening and all the different issues that I've had.
Okay. Okay. Very good. Any progress from Mr. Short? I know you said he was in a rehab program. Do we have any concerns with his progress?
No, I sent him a letter a couple weeks ago in hopes that he would maybe get back to me because I guess at the rehab they don't allow CPS visitors. So hopefully he gets my letter soon and can maybe write me a little paragraph about what he's learning. But Allison said that he's doing like 16 classes a week and is really busy with his counselor. So it sounds like he's doing good.
Okay, do we have any idea how long that program might be?
I believe it's 9 months. So he'll probably be there the rest of the year is what it sounds like.
He'll be getting out in December is what I've heard.
Okay, so that sounds like more of an incarceration type situation. Is he safe P? Is there something like that going on?
I just know that he's at the Brownfield. It's like a correctional center, but it's a treatment center in it. So I'm not really sure the dynamics of it. I did talk to his probation officer, and she told me that she didn't think I could go by, but I did ask her if I could write a letter to him, and she said I could.
Ms. Mason, do you know more about this situation?
I don't, but I can definitely follow up and see what's going on with it.
Okay, it's okay if they don't want us communicating with him, but it would be nice to have some idea of what kind of classes he's doing and what his plans are when he gets out and, all of that. And his criminal situation, is he done after this 9 months, or is he going to be on parole? What are Ms. Clem, you're shaking your head.
He has to finish probation when he gets out. He at least has to be able to pay the fines and is what his probation officer. So it'll be probably about another 6 months after he gets out. And he's doing parenting classes, relationship classes, and I believe an NA class too. And then plus his counseling.
Okay, good. Does he have a job lined up when he gets out?
They will help him find a temporary job while he's there, and then his dad actually will be helping him find a job when he gets back to Lubbock.
Okay. Ms. Clem, have you been meeting with a TFF worker?
Last week was a little bit of a hassle because I was really busy with I have my doctor's appointments and then all the classes I've been doing. But I am scheduled for tomorrow at 11 to 1 to meet with him, and then on Friday also.
Okay.
And I also have counseling on Thursday and a parenting class on Thursday.
Okay. All right, I'm going to set your next review hearing May the 21st at 3. Okay, anything else? All right, thank you. Be adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.